Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a really personal story. It's about communication, sure, but it's also about understanding and how looking at something just a little bit differently can, well, change everything. It all kicks off with a feeling that I think a lot of us know all too well.
Oof. You can just feel that moment, can't you? The whole party goes quiet, all eyes turn, and there's just this unfiltered, brutal honesty from a kid hanging in the air. It's that deep, full-body cringe. And for the family in this story, this wasn't a one-time thing. This was just Tuesday.
And yet, it wasn't just about weird-tasting cake. It was bigger than that. He'd spill family secrets to total strangers. It was like he was missing that little instruction manual for social situations that most of us just seem to have, you know? And it created this constant, low-level anxiety for everyone. So let's just call that feeling what it is: sheer embarrassment. And confusion, too. For his family, these moments were just deeply uncomfortable. They were stuck in this loop, always waiting for the other shoe to drop, but they had no idea why it kept happening. And that's a really tough spot to be in.
This is the pivot point. This is the question that starts to unravel the whole thing. Is this just a kid being difficult on purpose? Is it a discipline issue? Or is there something else, something much more complex, happening under the surface? To get past the embarrassment, they had to find out. And you know what? They did. They found the answer. They discovered this one single piece of information that was like finding the right key for a lock they'd been struggling with for years. It unlocked a completely new way of seeing everything.
And that missing piece, it was a diagnosis: fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, or FASD. And just like that, the whole picture was reframed. The blunt comments, the oversharing, it wasn't a choice, it was a symptom. See, FASD can affect the part of your brain that acts like a filter, making it genuinely hard to read social cues or to stop and think, hey, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud.
And this is the magic of it. Once you finally understand the why, you can start building a how. How can we help? How can we prepare? With the FASD diagnosis, the family could stop just reacting with embarrassment and start acting with a real strategy. It was time for a whole new game plan. So what did that game plan actually look like? Well, it was all about being proactive, super practical stuff. They'd actually rehearse little scripts for common situations like, no thank you, I'm full, instead of, this tastes weird. They'd practice simple greetings. Before they went to a party, they'd role-play different conversations. And look, this wasn't about trying to change who he was. It was about giving him the tools and the confidence to navigate a world that isn't always set up for the way his brain works. Now, this new approach, it did more than just make social events easier. It led to a change that was way deeper, something emotional. Once they had the understanding and the strategy, the family's entire perspective just shifted in a huge way. It all boiled down to this: these two words: he's trying. Instead of zeroing in on the awkward comment, they started seeing the effort behind it. They saw a kid who was showing up, doing the role-playing, and working so hard to learn a set of rules that just didn't come naturally to him. The focus flipped from the failure to the fight, and that's when the real transformation happened. That thing that used to cause so much embarrassment, his unfiltered honesty, they saw it in a completely different light. It wasn't a flaw. It was his superpower, a kind of radical truthfulness. They realized that in a world where most of us are constantly filtering ourselves, they had the most honest soul they'd ever known. So this whole story really leaves us with a powerful question to chew on. When we really push ourselves to understand the why behind what someone does, we don't just change how we deal with them. We can actually change our entire emotional reality, and maybe even turn what we once saw as a weakness into an incredible, honest-to-goodness strength. Makes you wonder, what in your world might look different if you just changed your perspective?